Suhaib says, I see many people, especially belonging to the subcontinent, saying Alhumdulillah as soon as they burp, just like the case in sneezing. Is this from the Sunnah to burp and say Alhamdulillah? These are things that people pick up from one another, and this is unfortunate. You see, when you don't have knowledge, you tend to imitate anything new that you see, thinking that is good, not knowing that this is an innovation. And I'll give you an example. In the masjid where I pray Fajr, after concluding Fajr prayer, people sit to make their adhkar. There was a particular individual that after doing his adhkar, all of a sudden he falls prostrating for about a minute or two, prolonging this prostration, and then he stands up and leaves. Few days later, 2 or 3 people started adopting this practice. And all of this is because they saw that person and they thought, Shaitan comes to them and he makes them think that, whoa, what a nice form of showing your humbleness to Allah Azza wa Jal, not knowing that this is an innovation. So if you don't stop, if you don't refer back to the people of knowledge and ask them, is this practice okay for you or is it an innovation? Then you will be in trouble. Likewise, when people burp, so this burping is the result of a full stomach. And when you have a full stomach, this calls you to praise Allah. So whenever you burp, you say Alhamdulillah. What about if you yawn? So if you yawn, this is the result of being tired. And in the hadith, that yawning is from shaitan. So what is the appropriate thing to do? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. So people, when they yawn, they say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. And all of this is not from the Sunnah. The companions used to do it, may Allah be pleased with them, in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ, never ever told them to say Alhamdulillah or to seek refuge in Allah from shaitanir rajim. On the contrary, in Fath al-Bari, Imam Al-Hafiz ibn Hajar authenticated the hadith where a man once said or burped in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ. So the Prophet said to him, keep your burping down, because the most or the longest of the people with full stomachs in this dunya are the longest of people who would starve on the Day of Judgment. And he made this isnad Hasan. So he did not tell him to say Alhamdulillah, which indicates to us that we do not know more than the Prophet ﷺ. And hence, it is a wrong practice to burp and say Alhamdulillah, to yawn and say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, to forget something and say Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Muhammad, while we're supposed to seek refuge in Allah from a shaitan and to remember Allah when we forget something, not to offer the salutation upon the Prophet ﷺ, though this is backed up by a weak hadith. So even if someone does it, it can be tolerated. But to say Alhamdulillah or A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, this is not from the Sunnah, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best.